Okay, sorry about that. Okay, anyway, I'm still waiting. I had to go pick up some lashes anyway, and I have some clients I have to go do. But I have a little bit of time, so I wanted to finish what I was saying in my other video. And that is, if you, I was talking about how, like, if you ever notice, like, how some people get uglier, like, the more you know them, and some people get better looking. It's like, sometimes somebody could be, let's just say somebody is halfway decent or attractive, right? But the more you get to know them, it's like you're more and more attracted to them. You like their personality, and you like how they treat you. You know, you like, you know, they just have a pleasant personality. You know, your soul likes them, right? So to speak. I'm trying to see if I don't want no shadow on my face. Anyway, okay, so in that same way, some people, though, you might think that they're very pretty or attractive when you first meet them, but then, like, after a while, or maybe after they open their mouth, it's like hot garbage coming out of their mouth, right? Or whatever, and then they get uglier, right? You just think, wow, they have a bad energy, they have bad spirit, right? And so they got uglier, right? So the point is that when somebody naturally grows on you and you do feel stronger, the chemistry is stronger, you think that they have gotten better looking, you know, in other words, you haven't gotten tired of looking at them, and your soul starts to actually kind of like desire that person or miss that person, you know, you want to see them again, more often, or whatever. That is what I'm talking about, okay? So because that happens, if you find that in a mate, number one, it's very rare, but if you can find that in a mate, right, and two people can actually grow together, even through trials and tribulations, you can kind of like overcome them together and talk things out or whatever, like, that's golden. To me, that is golden. That's what life is all about. Like, seriously, that's what life is all about. To me, you've hit the jackpot. To me, that is better than having $1 million in the bank or having the biggest house or the biggest car or whatever. When you can find a mate that you are attracted to, that you like, and you grow on each other, you know, in a good way, you know, and the chemistry is really there, and it doesn't take a lot to make each other happy, right? And that is, like, to me, that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot of life. And if you find that in a mate, and if you're a man, you find that in a woman, where you almost like you need her. You grow to, you know, need that person's energy. You need that person, you know, what they do for you. She's your helper. She's your helpmate. You know, it's like she's your other half, right? And that's why the Bible says your rib, right? If you start to develop that, I would say, even in the dating phase, and you start to kind of develop that, I don't even want to call it dependency, but me and my late husband used to always say we were addicted to each other, you know. But when it's a healthy addiction, you know, well, when it's healthy and you're already kind of feeling that in dating or whatever, and you can see that the chemistry and the bond is growing and there's growth there, you know, you naturally can tell that is your rib, that's your other half, and you have hit the sweet spot of life. You've hit that sweet spot, right? I think that is beautiful, and I think that to me is what I consider success. That's what I call success. Success to me, and the mark of success for me, is freedom to love, freedom of my expression, right? And feeling love and being able to give love. Feeling that freely, not feeling hampered down or feeling or made to feel any type of way. or anything like that. Like, to me, that is what success is about. And getting to do the things that you enjoy and love the most. Like, for me, I love makeup, and I love making baskets, and I have all my little things that I like to do, right? And crafts and things like that. Like, one day I plan on owning a gift shop. I want to own a gift shop, and I want it to be part, some of the proceeds, or maybe all the proceeds, or whatever, to go towards orphans and widows, people in need. But I also want some of the gifts to be made by children who were widowed, or who lost a parent or whatever, right? That they can make some of the things and sell it in a gift shop, so that the proceeds kind of help their families and stuff. It's one of my many ideas or whatever. But I like, in general, like, I love to make gifts, right? And I like being hands-on and doing those types of things, right? And having the freedom to do that, and not made to feel crazy or stupid or dumb or whatever, right? And in that same way, I want to be able to support whatever it is that my mate is doing. So if he's doing something that I feel like I can't support, or I don't like, if it's illegal, forget it, that's not happening. Or if he's doing something and it's like behind my back, or it's like, it's something he did on his own, he didn't even include me in, or even ask my opinion about anything or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say? That kind of stuff, that's the kind of things that actually break down relationships, that make people feel like you can't trust each other, And so that's actually what I was bringing out, or what I was trying to bring out, is that commitment isn't hard when you like the person sincerely that you're committing to, where you feel a longing and a sense of desire every day to see that person, right? Like, you want to see them more and more. It's like, it's not hard to commit to somebody who is, she has your back, she's trying to, to help you, whatever, she does things to look out for you, and you, the man, does that for her, where you're looking out for her, you've got her back, you're trying to do things for her, okay? And when there's that natural kind of like magnetic pull to each other, it's not hard to commit to that situation. Let me give you an example. Like, let's say you are, or maybe let's say if you've ever been with somebody and maybe you really liked that person, maybe you really like them, they liked you, you liked them, there was a lot of feelings and emotions there, or whatever, right? But maybe that person had to move, maybe they had to take a job overseas or something like that, they had to move. And let's say you know about it, let's say in the next 6 months or something like that, they have to move or whatever, they're leaving. So you're like, yeah, I guess we got to break up. If the two of you decide to break up, right? For whatever reason. I don't know, I'm coming up with some reason. But you're trying, you are saying, okay, we need to probably break up, or try to start stepping down from each other. But instead you start clinging to each other more. You start, instead of like separating, you're trying to hold on to every moment, and you start, I don't know what's all the noise all of a sudden. And you start like trying, like, in other words, it's like, oh, I know that person's gonna leave, so now I want to see them even more and more and more. It's a motorized bike. I mean, like, he added an engine or something. Like, it's like a bike that has like some sort of like loud engine motor thing that he just did or whatever. So I guess he's proud of it, and he's riding it around. It's not like a real moped or something like that. Anyway, the point is that what I was saying is, like, okay, it's like for example, when if someone is leaving and you got to break up with them or whatever, right? And if you start acting like, oh, I'm counting down the days until I don't have to see them no more, I can't wait to leave, I can't wait to be on my own or have my own time, I can't wait to, like, you're counting down the time till you have to get away from that person, right? It's like, oh, I have to suck this out one more day, or, you know, I have one more day or whatever. Okay. Or it's like, oh my God, I'm going to be leaving and I'm not going to see this person. So I want to spend as much time as possible as I can up until the last minute. Right? It's like the same thing, but there's two different views of how you look at that last time that you have together, right? It's either take advantage of it as much as possible to be able to enjoy each other's company, bask in the glory of each other, whatever, right, to the last minute. Or you're like counting down how long you have. You know, I knew someone, I had a guy that I dated, every time he went to New York, he was calling me, counting down days until he came back to, he was like, I have one more day, 2 more days, or whatever. And it's like, it's the same thing, like, whenever he would leave too, it was the same thing. He would say the same thing, like, oh God, you know, 1 more minute, and it would be like all the way to the airport, we were stuck together like glue. And that is what real chemistry is like. Real chemistry feels like that. It feels like there's never enough time. Even to the very last minute. Like, think about in The Notebook, right? The movie The Notebook. Everybody knows that movie. But like, think about it. To the very last minute, what do? They sucked up the life of each other. They wanted to be there to the very last breath, right? And they didn't get sick of each other. And look, there are plenty of relationships that are actually like that. You just have to be with the right one. You have to be, and you have to know how to recognize it too. You have to know how to recognize good chemistry when there is good chemistry. Okay? And when you have a good rapport with somebody, right? And when you recognize that you miss each other and you don't want to leave each other, when you don't want to leave each other's space, when you don't want to stop talking to each other, when, you know, you have to recognize that. See, and I'm bringing this out because a lot of people just don't, it's like they just don't know. They just don't realize. They just don't realize it, right? I actually realized the difference in different relationships that I've had. I actually could tell the difference when I had true, real chemistry versus not. The opposite, okay? Because in one relationship I had, it was like when he had to go to work for 6 weeks out of town or whatever, I was counting down days till he was for him to be gone, because I knew that I was going to be able to take care of me. I was going to be able to work out. I was going to be able to eat what I needed to eat or whatever, and I was going to be able to sleep good or whatever. And I always lost weight. I looked good. My skin looked brighter. Okay, all right. And then I would always be like kind of dreading when I knew that, you know, he was coming back, because it wasn't going to be all about me anymore. Like, I wasn't going to be able to just focus on myself, right? But then there are some relationships with certain people, certain men, that know how to naturally, or they just naturally place a woman on a pedestal and cherish that. They just know how to cherish a woman, and they know how to make her feel special, or they just naturally do that, or they just naturally feel that way because of chemistry, right? Where it's a natural feeling, like, of enjoyment, and where he almost doesn't want to miss 1 minute of her time, right? And he makes her feel that way, and he makes her feel important, and she in turn feels a natural sense of wanting to repay him by helping him, by being his helpmate, by doing things for him, whatever that he wants, you know. I mean, every woman is different, but I think that when there's a natural chemistry there, she's going to want to naturally help him. It's so loud right now. But by, you know, like doing things to support him, making his meals or whatever, making sure that, you know, like for me, because I am, well, this is another whole video, but I think I've talked about this before about being wifey, right? And I think that when you naturally feel that way for your mate, you should naturally do things that you know are going to make that person happy. So if it makes him happy to have a warm cooked meal when he comes home, to, you know, make sure the house is clean and put together, make sure that the house is in order or whatever. And I don't mean perfection, but just so that you welcome your man home, you know, lovingly. You welcome him, you let him know that you're glad to see him, because you genuinely are. Okay? But and you do things to support him. If it means cooking his lunch or making his lunch so he has something to eat, or making his favorite this or that or whatever. Or I was in one relationship where someone told me he loved the bed being made every day. He liked the bed being made. That was a big deal to him, you know. Or just different things like that. I sound terrible. I've already taken all the allergy stuff. I just sound horrible. And it is like so yucky. It doesn't matter how. It's like you can take a lot of stuff, but it is just too much in the air. But anyway, yeah, so it's just like a natural thing when you're with the right person and the chemistry is right and you are doing for her naturally, she naturally wants to do for you, whatever. It's like a ebb and flow. It's a real ebb and flow. And when you have actually experienced that, right? When you have actually experienced that and you know that that is possible, when you know that is possible, you've seen it with your own eyes, you've experienced it. People call that a high level soulmate, right? When you've experienced that before, it is very hard to step down and deal with anything less. It's very hard to deal with it. It's bothersome. It's like if you were raised eating oatmeal with only butter and no sugar or whatever, right? When you go and eat it somewhere else at somebody else's house and they add that sugar to it, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's so good. Now when you come back home and mom tries to just give you oatmeal with just butter, you're like, I want the sugar too. Because you know how it tastes with sugar now, right? Because you've already had that before. So it's kind of like that. That's what I mean. And I guess I know for me personally, I am happy to be, not married, single or whatever, to just be a free bird or whatever until or unless I get that again, where it is a real genuine chemistry and a joy to loving each other, when it is a joy and an honor to be a helpmate and to be that man's rib, and for him to treat me that way, for him to know that that's what I am, and for him to esteem me in that way. Okay, so I know for me that I'm not settling for any less type of relationship. I'm just not. I already did once, and I won't be forced into that again. I will not be forced into that or anything less than what I know is possible. I won't. It's like I can't do it. I won't be treated, I can't deal with narcissism. I can't deal with selfishness. I can't deal with, lying. I can't deal with drugs. And I can't deal with addictions or, just extreme bad habits, things that are going to spill over onto family business or onto me, or things that will make that person's personality go crazy or act weird so that you not know who you're talking to. You might be dealing with your husband one day and the next day he might be a Jekyll and Hyde and he might be some other demon or something like that because he's on, weird stuff. I don't operate like that. I don't operate in those parameters. I don't operate in that type of environment or anything close to that. I just don't. And my body and my health no longer will even allow me at this point. I'm only about love, showing love, being loved, accepting love, and the comfort of the other person. The other person brings you comfort and joy, right? And you bring each other comfort and joy and peace. Definitely peace. Definitely peace. Like I always say, men always say, be my peace or whatever. And I always want to ask the man, like, are you her peace? You want her to bring peace, but are you her peace? I mean, are you acting a fool? Are you showing out? Are you in and out? Are you trying to be with somebody else or acting, or giving her a hard time? Or are you on stuff? Or do you place your boys or your other people above her or as more important than her? Or are you, using the family money in crazy ways, doing dumb things with the money or whatever? Just things that relationships go through, to make her crazy or whatever, so that she can't be peaceful. Okay, so because I think it's a two-way street. But if she wants to bring peace, and if she wants to be your peace, and you want that for her also, you want to be her peace, you're not going to argue with her over dumb stuff. You're not going to just look at little things to try to argue or find things to argue about, that are literally meaningless, right? When the goal is actually peace, when that's actually the goal. So anyway, it is normal for men, especially because God, when Adam was perfect, and when God looked at Adam, he said it wasn't good for the man to be alone. I'm going to make you a helper. So even though Adam was perfect, it still wasn't good. I mean, that was out of God's own mouth in the Bible. It wasn't good. He saw that Adam needed a helper, and that made him feel complete. And so that design, the way God created the man and the woman, and the way that is designed, that is not abandonment issues. That's something totally different. It is normal for the man to want a helper or a helpmate, a wife, somebody to be his partner. Oh boy. I need to go. It's time for me to go. I got a few more minutes before I have to go see my clients. Some people be crazy. They just be talking. They just be screaming out loud to themselves. You know how people just be doing things. Anyway, that's normal. So if you're just wanting a mate, or you feel lonely because you don't have one, that's normal. That's actually very normal. In fact, even God said it wasn't good for the man to be alone, right? So just know that is not abandonment issues. Abandonment issues come from fear and will cause you to move from fear. Fear of being alone, fear of not having anyone around you, hold on to people or toxic things too long, okay? And you'll know the difference. One is fear-based. One is just a natural longing for a partner to be complete, okay? Anyway, so that's the difference. That was what I wanted to talk about. I'm pretty much done. I guess I can head over. I was just passing some time with you guys today. Bye.